Hello and welcome to the Yale Global Table podcast. Global Table is a collaboration between the Yale MacMillan Center, the Yale Schwarzman Center, and Yale Hospitality. The program aims to illuminate the connections between sustainability, health, culture, and community, with food at the center of the discussion. My name is Eve, and today I have the pleasure of sitting with Chef Rodrigo Pacheco from Ecuador. He is our fourth Yale Global Table Fellow, and this podcast culminates at the end of his week-long residency here at Yale University. Rodrigo is an Ecuadorian chef who fulfills the diplomatic role of Goodwill Ambassador in Ecuador at the Food and Agriculture Organization of the United Nations. He attracted global attention through his culinary art and his innovative project, the largest biodiverse edible forest in the world, which he develops as executive director of the Bogavaldivia Foundation to address socio-environmental causes through a mechanism for ecosystem conservation, reconnection, restoration, and strengthening, catalyzed by gastronomy and indigenous wisdom. Rodrigo is more than a professional chef. He is a specialist in sustainable hospitality, as well as a promoter of culture and biodiversity who bases his culinary art on restoring and connecting ecosystems, wisdom, and flavors. One of his main life goals is to create the largest natural, cultural, and community corridor on the planet. So welcome, Chef Rodrigo. We are so happy to have you here at Yale, and I've been fortunate to join you on multiple activities throughout your residency here at Yale. But for those who may not be familiar, please introduce yourself and the work that you do as an expert in the culinary world.
Thank you, Eve, for this special moment of bringing all these memories during this Global Table program that has been quite amazing. My name is Rodrigo Pacheco. I am an Ecuadorian chef. I'm 44 years old, father of two boys, and a passionate for nature, for connection with the surrounding ecosystems, and also passionate for sustainable gastronomy, inspired by indigenous wisdom. And my mission is to connect and to bring awareness for many people in the world, for them also to connect with nature, to find their purpose in life, to take bold decisions in their companies, in their homes, to break the glass on transformation. So I think food is something that connects us all, and it has been a special key that I use to open the people's mind, the people's heart, and sometimes the appetite as well.
That's wonderful. And with you being so involved in gastronomy and in getting your inspiration from indigenous wisdom, where did that start? What planted the seed in inspiring that path forward in your career?
Yes, I saw my grandfather, Jose Julio Erazo, and I saw him cultivating his small edible forest with very sustainable animal systems. But overall, I saw his relationship with the surrounding flora, and how he brought that learning, that wisdom into his home, into his habits, into how he raised his children, and including my mother, and then how my mother applied all that learning, all that legacy into our home, and taught us about the healthy food and how to prepare food at home. So I was raised eating very healthy, very naturally, growing my own food, growing some ducks, some chickens. And I think that is something that was the base for me to continue on an academic journey, and then as a professional also. And now I think is not only my lifestyle, but it is my purpose in life. And it's been an amazing journey to be able to connect myself to nature very, very deeply, and also become a bridge for others to do the same.
It sounds like you had wonderful role models growing up, and I think it's beautiful that your family passed down that generational knowledge for healthy eating and great habits and being one with nature. And on that topic, What does it mean for you to cook with nature rather than from it?
Yes, working hand in hand with nature is a very natural thing to do for me, because I respect it, because I am a nature-based chef. And once you are connected with nature, you start loving it. So through all the many adventures I do in my daily life, I also cross sight with a lot of animals and a lot of life, and this for me is a special collection I carry. So when I'm cooking, for me is a way to pay tribute to the generosity of the earth, to our ancestors who were the first interpreters of the messages that the surrounding universe was broadcasting for them, and how they transformed that into sustainable food systems, resilient and adaptive. And now I'm just following their legacy, trying to innovate the agri-food systems, thinking that the future needs to be a future where we actually reassure food sovereignty, and at the same time we don't become predators of nature. So looking to the future, it also means looking into the past to take the actions we need to take in the present time. So all these connections and the products and the fire and all this is the perfect conducting cable to understand and to interpret and to innovate and to utilize my creativity to try to solve the problems of the world.
I love that. I'm somebody who's very interested in natural eating, healthy food sourcing, and I think it's great to see a shift, and you so passionate about incorporating that shift into the world and going back to our roots of tapping into nature, the intentional process of how we go about gathering, sourcing, and reverenting the food that we eat and the produce and the process of kind of that cycle of life. So I think that's beautiful. Was there a specific moment when you realized cooking could be a tool for conservation?
Yes, definitely. I had the opportunity to train with some of the best chefs in the world, and for me that was great. Not only because I was able to learn the techniques and the rigor and the discipline you need to do this properly, but also at some point during that part of my career, I had the chance to work in a French 3 Michelin star restaurant with Michel Bras and the Bras family, one of the best chefs in the world, most influential chefs in the world, and I found my soulmate in the kitchen, and the way he sees nature and the foraging we used to do at his restaurant, and the respect for the vegetables, the authentic love and humbleness with the team managing the place. That was something that it was a proof for me that gastronomy is possible in a way that I didn't see it in the previous places I was working. And since then, when I came back to Ecuador, I obviously applied that learning plus what I've been learning from my own family, and then I started a new journey with the indigenous people. And that combination of that learning I had abroad for 10 years, and then now it's been 14 years learning from indigenous cultures. It has brought interesting tools for me to sort of continue this legacy, but beyond gastronomy, and focusing also in the conservation of ecosystems and cultures. And that's where, through the foundation I have founded actually in the US as well as a 501c3, we are looking forward to expand and to continue protecting and strengthening, reconnecting, and sometimes redesigning ecosystems where food is the center, thinking for the present and the future generations, and benefiting all life on the planet.
Would you be able to share some of the indigenous wisdom and practices that you had learned during your conversations and interactions?
What I learned from indigenous cultures is their own connection, deep connection with nature, deep respect for living creatures, their relationship with plants. It's so interesting. And obviously the amount of wisdom and knowledge they have been accumulating and transmitting from generation to generation for thousands of years. And some of them still maintain the original traditions, their way of living in a pristine way. And seeing that, it means a lot. So I've learned from them about how to see the world in a particular way, and also how to relate myself with the surrounding nature. But of course, culinary speaking, also how to use fire, how to use natural elements, ethnobotany, wild species, to create experiences that are meant to nurture the body, the spirit, the soul, the hearts of many people that have had the opportunity to go to Boca Valdivia. And when I travel too, I try to bring all these tools, this learning, and share it through the menus I create, through the experiences, or as a masterclass, however the opportunity is. I always carry the same values, no matter where the scenario is. And that something that I have very present every time is the indigenous, is the people, is those ancestral cooks, those ancestral women chefs that I've met, and how they masterfully utilize leaves and are very precise in the cooking, in the seasoning, creating some probably unforgettable memories for me. And I try to transmit that to others as well.
And when individuals go to Boca Valdivia, what can they expect when they show up? What is the experience like?
The experience is a full day where we go fishing artisanally in the shore, and then we walk a trail and forage and interpret nature. We even eat some insects, and then we continue towards where the kitchen is in Boca Valdivia. We plant trees together, we harvest something together, and then there's a tasting menu of 10 courses with also with pairings of liquid form gastronomy that we create, utilizing biodegradable elements, ethnobotany, some ceramic we prepare ourselves at Boca Valdivia. So I think is a way of seeing gastronomy in the most pure way possible. The fact that we are auto-sustainable in over 95%, the fact that we work together with the community, with the indigenous people, and the visitors that have been there from over 100 countries in the world have the opportunity to see gastronomy from the very core, from the origin of things, with this mentality and philosophy of respect, these 360 degrees of honor vision applied into the menu, into the team, into the place. So we have had, thankfully, we have had great rates of satisfaction. Perhaps people that have transformed their own view of seeing gastronomy, seeing the world. So that's what encouraged us to continue doing this.
I really appreciate that you incorporate a hands-on experience for people to go and fully immerse themselves to help them with understanding in gastronomy and being able to tangibly see and interact with the environment around them to get, as you said, the 360-degree perspective of it all. So that's a great initiative. Do you have any interesting stories or anything fun or maybe a memorable moment that someone had shared with you after they had attended?
Yes, I've seen so many cases of people that arrive with the vibes from the city, maybe skeptical, don't understanding why we have to do all these. Maybe they just wanted to eat and that's all, But then at the end, as we move forward in the experience, the nature starts cleaning, sort of like providing a deeper layer and another deeper layer, and leaving behind this energy, these bad vibes sometimes that we naturally carry once in a while. And then after the meal, where they have been exposed to all this connection with nature and food and the gastronomy and the place, I see a transformation. I see it, and when I approach the table, they don't just say something nice about the food. I don't even have to ask anything. They stand up from the table, They invite us to their homes. We create friendships, and we also sell houses after that in our project. So I guess it touches the people's heart in a way that they want to become part of this. Boca Valdivia is way beyond a restaurant. I'm pretty fed up with the traditional version of restaurants. So Boca Valdivia is an ecosystem, is a learning place, and is an inspirational source. And then I see a lot of people wanting to transform their own lives and follow our lifestyle. So that's pretty nice to see.
It seems like nature has its way of having its own purification process, both when you experience it, but also ingest it and be part of it.
Yes.
And I think it's wonderful how it kind of sparks this chain reaction with the visitors. And now they have this, no pun intended, the seed planted to now go and move forward and make their own differences as well.
Yes.
How do you ensure that the knowledge exchange when working with indigenous communities is reciprocal rather than extractive?
Because the fact that we pay attention to the indigenous people in a special way, not as tools only for us. Good agreements are good for both parts, and the fact that we visit their communities, we invite them to our community as well. We credit their knowledge. We also, as we learn from them, we also provide some learning to them of the things we have learned. And around Boca Valdivia, the economic growth that they have been able to have thanks to working with us has transformed their lives, their self-esteem, their way of seeing the world. And that's an important tool that we also leave as a legacy for the community. So it is a very balanced extraction and retribution. And I believe it should be like that in every scale.
Definitely. It's important to have a mutually beneficial relationship. The interactions and shared knowledge needs to be something that everyone can learn from and benefit from. And it's important as a society that we give back when we have the opportunity to receive. So that's great.
Yeah.
If you were advising policymakers on climate and food, what would you prioritize?
I think the preservation of ecosystems is the most important thing, because after that, the culture will be preserved, the traditions and the knowledge. But once the ecosystem disappears, there's nothing left. There's only memories, and it's important for policymakers to leave their offices sometime, to go to nature, to connect with the people, with the surrounding ecosystems, and understand the real value of it. Not only because they are in a chair of making decisions under some good payment salaries, being comfortable there, deciding what the future for many communities and people might be. So I think the first thing is for them to really connect, be outside, understand, love, respect nature, and then once that you have experienced that through that lens, then obviously the decisions you will make will benefit the right side. So that's something that we need to change in the world. Leaders in general need to break some glass, need to take bold decisions for environmental transformation. It is time. There is the Paris Agreement. There are the SDGs to follow. We are all stakeholders in this. We are all brothers and sisters that live in one planet, and there's nowhere else to go. So might as well work together, work hand in hand in nature, because the kids and the children of the world are watching our actions, and they will also live the consequences of our decisions.
Definitely.
So that's the important thing that we need to understand as society.
It's important to have a unified front, and as you said, for people to go out and experience it, not just have a bird's eye view, but actually be involved in the process of it all. For people listening who want to eat and live more sustainably but feel overwhelmed, what's one small practical change you think can make a real impact?
The small changes are very meaningful, because if many people do small changes, it becomes a big change. So I think growing your own food, it is something that really allows you to connect with the source, to understand the cycle of life, and to feel the satisfaction of having cultivated even the most humble small pot in your window with an aromatic herb, with basil, coriander, or rosemary, or even aloe vera, or whatever you can grow in your window. Start from there, because I'm very sure that after that experience, you're going to want a second pot and a third pot, and then you go out to your garden, and who knows, the result of that maybe start protecting more ecosystems or connecting with other farms. And that's how we make this network or this movement that, such as Boca Valdivia, to be bigger, to be larger, with also a more important impact. So
I was always raised by my mom. She loves to garden, and we have a very big garden. We're fortunate to have a very big garden at my parents' house. And so from a young age, she would have me go out and teach me about the produce and the things that she was growing. And a lot of the times it would just be experimenting. She would take pumpkin seeds after the fall, after we carved pumpkins, and throw them out in the yard. And the next season they'd be sprouting, and we have pumpkins growing in the yard. So it was always really fun to just experiment and toy and see what happens. And then, as you said, it starts this relationship where you grow attached to the process and want to explore more and experiment more and see what else you can do and what else happens with just, again, working with nature, planting, see what grows, what doesn't, learning from the process, obviously, if things don't grow and such. And so it teaches you a lot. And it also creates some really fantastic food in the process that's fresh.
Yes. Food and teas and connection with your family. So that's the way to go.
Yes. And lastly, to finish off, obviously, you've had a week here at Yale University. Would you like to share about any notable activities and things that you've learned during your residency here and interacting with the student community, the faculty, and the attendees that were at the Yale Global Table main event?
Yes, it has been an amazing journey. I think Yale has created an ecosystem itself, academically speaking, physically speaking, culturally as well. And I think there's a common vision that I've been able to appreciate, and that's very important, because it's the right soil for seeds that will definitely become trees and will give fruit. So I see that, and that has been very, very important for me on this journey. I'm very grateful. I'm very happy to have been part of this program, to have the opportunity to cook, to share a little bit of my country, of my traditions, my vision of the world, as well as listening to the students from different faculties and understanding their projects, their vision, their questioning, their concerns. So this exchange it goes around gastronomy. Gastronomy is cooking, but it's also connecting. And this has been a great example of that important connection that happens and is born from food.
Yeah.
So,
and I know a lot of the students, they've given feedback saying how wonderful and creative and interesting it has been to get to know you and the work that you're doing. So I'm sure it's made lasting impacts here as well. And hopefully some of our students now can go out and start again doing something similar and incorporating all of the lessons that you've taught them into their own practice and research and career as well. And to finally wrap everything up, what are some plans that you have for the future, goals that you have in mind, projects that you're thinking about working on?
My next project is an online sustainability academy through Boca Valdivia, where through the lens of gastronomy, I want to share as much as possible with the learners from all over the world, from different backgrounds, not only chefs, but farmers and food enthusiasts and people who understand conservation as a main goal, or just curious people, because when through a recipe and how we will provide you with so much information and data and experiences about what's around that recipe, where does it come from, and how to choose it and how to pick it up, and nutraceutical information, medicinal content of the food, historical background on the products, how to grow it, permaculture information, cycle of life of the plants, and so much information that we can share. So the fact that we're creating an online project means that more people will be able to access that, not necessarily go to our place. By the way, we also have an immersive program on that Sustainable Academy, but at least is open at 365 days per year, and it's open 24 hours for a global audience to expand this important message, to inspire more people. So that's our next project. And of course, continue developing, finding a funding mechanism, alliances for Boca Valdivia Foundation to expand the size and grow the largest biodiverse forest on the planet.
Amazing. Well,
Yes.
I think it's great to have a now accessible resource and way to learn about the amazing, incredible work that you do. And I'll definitely be looking at the academy as well, because I can definitely brush up on my cooking and indigenous wisdom and gastronomical learning and culinary experience. So thank you so much, Chef Rodrigo Pacheco. It's been a pleasure getting to know you and having you here. And we are excited to see what more is to come. So
Thank you so much for the hospitality, Eve. Thanks.